The best of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. This is my last in the popular series Stories from My Life about how I could have died while I was still a youth. Thanks for laughing at my many funerals, none of which ever happened. Now, I was never a big kid in school. Even as an adult, I'm always among the smallest in a group photo, and even then, they always seem to ask me to stoop at the front. I think that's child abuse, but that's for another time. So you can imagine the guts it took for me when I was a 7th grader to face a 6th grader named Glenroy, who, besides being much taller than I, was a bully. Glenroy gloried in calling me a brutally unsavory nickname based on my last name and my size. At least he was creative enough to juxtapose the two. And I'm not telling you what that nickname was. One morning I approached Glenroy and nicely asked him to cease calling me that name, please. As I turned to leave Glenroy, I collected a barrage of fisticuffs to my face and upper body, and being one never to win fights, I didn't fight back, knowing that it would only prolong the assault. In those days, you didn't run to the principal or to mommy to complain, and you certainly didn't tell the boys in your class because they would laugh you to scorn or kill you with laughter because you allowed somebody in a lower class to beat you up. Now, it's conceivable that if one of Glenroy's cuffs had landed on the wrong part of my head, my temple, I could have died at the age of 14. But I have a story about another Glenroy, the one who saved my life. Glenroy was, during my teen years, one of my 2 best friends. In fact, my father, among the many songs he wrote, penned one about me, Glenroy, and our 3rd friend, all of us from the same church. He used to sing it exactly like this, physical assistance included. Michael, Glenroy, Gary, and all the other boys would stand up for Jesus boldly together with the girls. You can laugh all you want, but it was a hit song. Now, I need to tell you about how I learned to swim. A group of us teens were on a beach picnic. I left everyone on the beach, walked out to the end of a jetty, perhaps about 50 or 60 feet long. I looked down at the water, I looked back at the beach, and I told myself, Michael, you must get back to the beach. And I simply jumped into the water, beat my feet and hands like crazy, and somehow, by God's grace, I ended up on that beach alive. Now, no lifeguard will tell you that I learned to swim that day. And by the way, if there are any children watching this, or maybe any adult as well, please do not try that at home, or on the beach, or near the deep end of a swimming pool. Please. Sometime after that, my friend Glenroy, this good Glenroy I'm telling you about, and some others of us were on a beach having fun with me playing at a respectable depth in the water. Some were playing on tire tubes those days before every car and everything had tubeless tires. And my friend Glenroy was on a smooth, sand-worn piece of log. I looked at everybody else on their state-of-the-art tire tubes and found only disdainful laughter for my friend Glenroy on his horse and buggy piece of log. Now, maybe it was while I was in the middle of my raucous laughter at Glenroy that I suddenly felt nothing beneath my feet, and I began to sink and struggle. My self-taught swimming lesson was no match for the depth of this water and the current. I was losing. And Glenroy saw my difficulty, and it was he, his log, and another friend who came to my rescue, and I was brought to shore on that log. Glenroy saved my life that day. Now let me go back to the first Glenroy, the bully who rained blows on my head and on my body. Sometime later in school, before it became common for parents and others to come to schools and beat up teachers, I remember that Glenroy bringing a gang to Modsec, my school, to beat up Mr. 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. The police had to be called to allow Mr. 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 to feel safe to leave the premises, by which time, of course, Glenroy and his goons had already fled. Glenroy If you're still alive out there, I have something to say to you or to anybody who is like this kind of Glenroy. I hope you went on to do something with your life, my friend. Perhaps a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a doctoral degree. I did all three, propelled in part by the bullyism you and many, both in my youth and adulthood, for I have been bullied as an adult as well, inflicted on me. I hope you've had the joy of making useful impact on thousands of lives in many places at home and abroad. I have. Now a word to you, dear viewer. You will encounter or already have two kinds of Glenroys in your life. One will hurt you and one will save your life. But if you looked closely enough, the pain from the one that hurt you, depending on how you use that pain, could also propel you to save your own life and to enrich the lives of others. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, all the way to Friday.